I'm sure we've all experienced some cringe moments at times, moments where we felt embarrassed, awkward, or even humiliated. But the show The Office allows us to face these moments not with shame, but with laughter. Today, we'll take a look at how this iconic series masterfully transforms cringeworthy situations into comedy. Have you ever heard the term mockumentary? If not, don't worry, it's perfectly normal. Someone may have simply referred to it as shot like The Office. To be more accurate, the term mockumentary actually means fictional documentary. In this type of production, the characters are aware that they're being filmed, and they occasionally break the fourth wall to directly address the camera. This is actually a great way to engage with the audience. While it may seem like they're talking directly to the viewers, the characters are actually pretending to speak to those watching the documentary. When this technique is done well, it can lead to truly outstanding work. Examples of this include Deadpool, House of Cards, and of course, The Office, which is the topic of today's video. By the way, before we dive further into the video, I have a quick request. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you've already subscribed, let's continue. Let's say there's a scene where two characters are talking, and one of them is asking something from the other. Imagine the person being asked accepts the request, but is also secretly annoyed. Normally, you'd convey this through the actor's facial expressions. But if the goal of the production is comedy, instead of relying solely on expressions, you could have the character turn to the camera and humorously express their frustration. This is just one of the advantages of the mockumentary style, and The Office made full use of it. I'm sure we've all heard something about British humor at some point. You may have come across the common saying, "The British aren't funny." And that's true. Although there are exceptions like Ricky Gervais and Sacha Baron Cohen, British humor is generally not considered humorous by many different cultures. The UK, like Japan, is an island nation. Island nations have only integrated into the world in the last 100 to 200 years. Before that, they lived much more isolated lives compared to today, which is why their cultures are noticeably different from the rest of the world. If your only communication with the world came from ships arriving once a week or month, you too would diverge from global norms over hundreds of years. I imagine some social justice warriors have already bitten their keyboards in frustration and left the video at this point. So, I feel comfortable saying it again, the British aren't funny. Exceptions don't change the bigger picture, and this is a well-known fact. Even Ricky Gervais once said, "If Americans didn't speak English, I'd starve because you can't sell quality humor to the British." I bring this up because, as you all know, The Office was originally a British show created by Ricky Gervais. The show was canceled after the second season due to low ratings. Only 12 special episodes were produced, and after that, Greg Daniels saw its potential and decided to recreate it in America. In its early stages, the American version was shot in a style quite similar to the British version. So, what happened? Predictably, the ratings were lower than expected. At this point, Greg Daniels stepped in and said, "I made the show too niche for the British audience. You don't have to do that." Then, starting with the second season, the show underwent a transformation, shifting from cringe moments to more situational comedy. This was a crucial move, because making such drastic changes after a show has already begun is not easy. But Greg Daniels took the risk and did it. I think we can all agree that the show got better after the second season. This wasn't just true in terms of execution, but also in terms of character development. In the first season, the characters felt a bit more like stereotypes. Michael Scott's funny but uncomfortable behavior, Dwight Schrute's oddities, and the potential romance between Pam and Jim all felt somewhat shallow. But in the second season, as the characters were given more time, their backstories and motivations became clearer. If you've noticed, some characters from the first season underwent significant changes in later seasons. For example, Pam was more intelligent and mature in the first season, but gradually became more innocent and naive as the seasons went on. In films, the director-actor dynamic is crucial, but that's not the case in TV shows. In TV shows, especially American ones, the writer-actor relationship is far more important. In TV shows, the directors are usually not that important. Don't be surprised. Each episode is directed by a different person, but the writers remain the same. If the writers deem it necessary, they can even fire the director. In The Office, the relationship between the writers and actors was key. The fact that the actors wanted more detailed backstories for their characters and formed deep connections with them gave the show an extra dimension. For instance, the actors requested that even the smallest details, such as their characters' best friends in elementary school or what allergies they had, be written into the script. This depth of character development completed the integrity of the show and made it better. An interesting point about the success of the show is that it fell victim to the sitcom curse. As the popularity of the actors increased, they began to leave the show for other projects. However, The Office managed to survive despite this curse. If you're wondering, what is the sitcom curse? It refers to the phenomenon where actors in sitcoms tend to leave the show just as their fame peaks. For instance, Steve Carell left because he found the salary offered by the show insufficient. When he left, fans started speculating. Steve Carell left not because of the money, but because of the producer's lack of interest, they said. But the truth is that Carell had started moving toward more lucrative projects due to his rising popularity. Even after Steve Carell left, The Office managed to stay afloat and continue to satisfy its audience, albeit for a little while longer. The show wasn't just an easy-to-watch comedy. It also perfectly captured the feeling of being stuck in a white-collar job. Office workers can relate to this feeling all too well. People around you act so strangely at times that you resort to little schemes just to stay sane in the office. The Office succeeded in portraying these oddities in a humorous way. Characters like Jim and Pam and how they coped with the bizarre behavior in the office resonated particularly well with the white-collar audience. Another key element of the show was the character development over time. Michael Scott, for example, evolved from an emotionless and uncaring boss to a more compassionate figure. This transformation made the show feel more genuine and relatable to viewers. When it comes to the show's impact on real life, The Office rewrote the rules of the mockumentary genre. It became a source of inspiration for all the mockumentary-style productions that followed and increased the number of shows in this genre exponentially. Shows like Parks and Recreation and Modern Family followed in The Office's footsteps, expanding and popularizing the genre. In the end, The Office wasn't just a successful comedy show. It was a show that influenced an entire genre of television. Its real-world impact and cultural legacy are significant. If you haven't watched it yet, you definitely should. Once you start watching, you'll feel a huge void when it ends. When I finished it, I couldn't shake the feeling for a long time and ended up watching clips on YouTube for quite a while after it ended. In fact, after finishing this video, I'm thinking about starting it all over again. That's all from me for now. Hope to see you in the next video.